Hello everyone, welcome to ENbreeEN, the daily current affairs news analysis by Team Enlight. The topics we are going to discuss today are lightning in India, China-Pakistan economic corridor, PUSA decomposer, El-NINO, La Nina and ENSO. So the first topic for today is lightning in India. Why was this in news? Because India sees around 2000 to 2500 lightning deaths every year on average, and lightning is the biggest contributor to accidental deaths due to natural causes. So what is lightning? Lightning is basically very rapid and massive discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, some of which is directed towards the earth's surface. The discharge is generated in giant moisture carrying clouds which are almost 10 to 12 kilometers tall. So how lightning occurs? So basically the base of the clouds is typically 1 to 2 kilometers above the earth's surface, and they are having a length of, or they are 12 to 13 kilometers long. The temperatures at the top of these clouds is around minus 35 to 45 degrees Celsius. It basically forms a system in which the smaller ice crystals are moving upwards and bigger ice crystals are moving downwards. And what happens when this happens? There is a collision amongst these which triggers the release of electrons, and as these moving free electrons cause more collision, and hence there is a chain reaction which happens. So this process results in a situation in which the top layer of the cloud gets positively charged, whereas the middle layer gets sort of negatively charged, and the electrical potential difference between these two layers is in the order of billion to 10 billion of the volts. So how does this current reach the earth from the cloud? So while the earth is a good conductor of electricity, it is electrically neutral. However, in comparison to the middle layer of the cloud, it becomes positively charged. As a result, about 15 to 20% of the current that gets directed towards the earth. So what happens is, air is a poor conductor of electricity, we already know, and these electrons are traveling through the air. So they are looking for a better conductor and the shortest route to relatively positively charge Earth's surface. And how it causes fatality to the people? People are most commonly struck by what is called the ground currents. So when the electrical energy after hitting a large object, say a tree on the earth, spreads laterally on the ground for some distance, and people in that area receive electrical shocks. So precautions, basically taking shelter under a tree is very dangerous. We must not lie flat on the ground. The best option is to stay indoors during a storm or heavy rains when lightning etc. is taking place, and even then we must avoid touching any electrical fittings, wires, metals, water etc. So organizations which are involved in disseminating early lightning information forecasts etc. are, and who are doing studies on these lightning are, the Climate Resilient Observing Systems Promotion Council, the Indian Meteorological Department, along with the Indian Institute for Tropical Meteorology, Indian Meteorological Society, and the World Vision India. So what kind of technology is used for forecasting this lightning strikes? So they use satellite observation inputs from the network of Doppler and other radars, lightning detector sensors, etc. So geography of occurrence of lightning. So they have a fixed time and location where lightning will occur, and hence it's not that difficult to basically tell which are these locations which are more prone to lightning. So it mainly occurs in, as you know, what is Kal Baisakhi, the nor'westers, which are violent thunderstorms with lightning in eastern India, and pre-monsoon lightning deaths also occur in Bihar, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and UP. So the next topic for today is China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC. Why was this in news? So a key meeting between the Pakistani and Chinese officials on the multi-million dollar CPEC is expected to be held in Islamabad next week. So what is this CPEC? Basically, it's a flagship project under the Belt and Road Initiative of China, which was started by their president Xi Jinping, aimed at enhancing Chinese influence or Beijing's influence around the world through China-funded infrastructure projects. So CPEC is a 3,000 kilometer long project which consists of highways, railways, pipelines, etc. And it eventually aims at linking the city of Godar in southwestern Pakistan to the China's northwestern region of Xinjiang through the vast network of highways and railways. So what is this One Belt, One Road initiative? It is an ambitious project that focuses on connectivity and cooperation among multiple countries spread across continents of Asia, Africa, Europe. Now it might be having even more than 78 countries which are involved in this project. So there are two parts to this project. The Silk Road Economic Belt, which is a land based and is expected to connect China with Central Asia, Eastern Europe and Western Europe. And the second part to it is the 21st century maritime Silk Road, which is sea based and is expected to connect China's southern coast to the Mediterranean, Africa, Southeast Asia and Central Asia. So India's objections to this OBOR and CPEC, basically the CPEC passes through Pakistan occupied Kashmir in Gilgit-Baltistan, and India sees it as that it is undermining India's strategic interests and territorial integrity. Also, China will get access to the Western Indian Ocean through the Gwadar port. It will help China in controlling maritime trade and would affect the freedom of navigation and trade energy security of India if China is surrounding India through such projects. Then China's increasing footprint in the South Asian region is undermining and detrimental to India's strategic hold in the Indian Ocean, which has been there for a long time now. For example, the construction of the Hambantota port in Sri Lanka has provided China critical strategic locations in the Indian Ocean. So problems associated with this checkbook diplomacy of China. So first of all, both financing and constructions of these projects are very beneficial to China, whereas the developing countries have to bear all their financial risks, etc. Therefore, a lot of different countries have even denied starting such projects in their country. Then the UN organization, that is UNESCAP, raised a red flag over economic, financial, social and environmental risks of the One Belt, One Road initiative. It is seen that the investment values are highly disproportionate to the recipient nation's poor economy, such as Uzbekistan, Pakistan, etc. Sri Lanka has already gone into a debt trap of China. And what will happen once you are in this debt trap? Either you will have to get away with certain of your assets or lease out certain assets of your country for say 100 to 200,000 years to China, or you will have to make your country's policy which are favorable to Chinese interests. So all these hence take away your sovereignty and integrity of your country. So right now in the news there was the current food emergency in Sri Lanka is also a result of the Chinese debt trap. So what are the Indian initiatives to counter China? So first of all, the Asia-Africa Growth Corridor, which is an India-Japanese Economic Cooperation Agreement. Then India must speed up its development of its own strategic projects in Bangladesh, China, India, Myanmar Economic Corridor, Chabahar Port, the Dukkam Port, etc. As you can see in the this slide, so this is the necklace of diamonds, which are the projects by India in the Indian Ocean region, and this is the string of pearls by China, which are the different projects undertaken by China in the Indian Ocean region. So over here you can exactly point out which are the important ports or projects India is undertaking and in which countries. Next topic for today is PUSA Decomposer. So why was this in news? So with the wheat growing rabi season right around the corner, the PUSA biodecomposer that made its debut in the field last year is on the minds of the farmers in northern Delhi. But there are still certain challenges they are facing because it takes a very long time for them to decompose the rice crop or the rice stalk. So what is the PUSA decomposer? It is in the form of capsules made by extracting fungi strains that help the paddy straw to decompose at a much faster rate than usual, and this fungi helps to produce the essential enzymes for the degradation process. So time to decompose, it takes around 20 days for the degradation process to be completed. The shredded watered paddy straw, which is mixed with soil, takes at least 45 days to decompose, and this is the reason that farmers will not get enough time to prepare their fields for the wheat crop in the rabi time. So benefits of this PUSA decomposer are, first of all, it will improve the fertility because all the material which was being grown is just being converted into good manure, which is organic, instead of using artificial fertilizers, etc. And hence it will improve the productivity of the soil, as the stubble works as a manure and compost for the crops, and lesser consumption of fertilizer is needed. Then soil will not lose its richness due to stubble burning, and it will also not destroy the useful bacteria and fungi which used to previously die due to the stubble burning, causing also causing harm to the environment. It is an efficient, effective, cheaper, doable, practical technique to stop stubble burning, which caused lot of pollution in the environment. It was against India's initiatives of fighting against global warming and climate change. It caused huge layers of smog in the national capital, and due to this, the particulate matter content in the air of Delhi increased rapidly during the winter season, etc. So it is eco-friendly and environmentally useful technology which will contribute to the Swachh Bharat mission, as well as it is very cheap as compared to stubble burning. So next topic for today is El Nino, La Nina and ENSO. So why was this in news? So Australia Met puts up a La Nina watch. So what are these phenomena? So El Nino and La Nina are basically complex weather patterns resulting from variations in the ocean temperature in the equatorial Pacific region. They are opposite phases of what is known as the EL-NINO southern oscillations, ENSO cycles. So these cycles describe the fluctuations in the temperature between the ocean and the atmosphere in the eastern central equatorial Pacific. So first we will talk about El Nino. So basically it's a climatic pattern that describes the unusual warming of the surface waters in the eastern tropical Pacific Ocean. So the cold Humboldt current on the Peruvian coast is replaced by a warm current. It occurs more frequently than La Nina, and it is not having any regular cycle, and they are not predictable and occur irregularly at 2 to 7 years intervals. So when the coastal water becomes warmer in the eastern tropical Pacific, the atmospheric pressure above the ocean decreases. As El Nino brings rains to South America, since it brings warm on the Peruvian coast, it brings droughts to Indonesia, Australia and sometimes even to India. It causes lesser amount of monsoon or droughts. These droughts threaten the region's water supplies as reservoirs dry and the rivers carry less water. And as you know, Indonesia etc. are highly dependent on intensive rice cultivation, so agriculture of course suffers a lot. So next we come to La Nina. So La Nina, the cool phase of ENSO, is the pattern that describes the unusual cooling of the tropical eastern Pacific. La Nina events may last between 1 to 3 years, unlike the El Nino, and the temperatures in the eastern Pacific gets comparatively colder than the normal, and as a consequence there is strong high pressure over the eastern equatorial Pacific. La Nina events are also associated with heavy rainier than normal conditions over the southeastern Africa and northern Brazil. However, strong La Nina events are associated with catastrophic floods in northern Australia and high rainfall in India also, and it usually has positive impact on the fishing industry of the western South America. So ENSO and India. So strong El Nino events contribute to weaker monsoons and even droughts in India, Southeast Asia, etc. La Nina years, the rainfall associated with the summer monsoon in Southeast Asia tends to be greater than normal, especially in northwestern India and Bangladesh. And usually La Nina also brings colder than normal winters in India. As you can see over here, the whole phenomenon has been shown over here, and how these atmospheric and ocean temperature change and pressure changes cause this cycle. So thank you so much for listening and have a great day ahead.